more people going to space than ever before. I wanted to know, are human beings ready to leave Earth behind? So, I talked to an astronaut who spent over a year up there.
Is it true that you're just wearing a diaper?
You know, it is what it is. If you outpace your diaper, it could just be a bad day.
I met with science writers.
This is my copy of your guys' book.
Nice.
Health experts.
As far as you know, has anybody ever had sex in space?
Love this question.
And a man who paid $30 million to join Russia's space program.
Where I would gladly volunteer for a one-way trip to live on Mars.
So what did I learn? Taking Homo sapiens multiplanetary isn't just hard, it's almost impossible.
Space can kill you rapidly or it can kill you slowly, but it's always trying to kill you.
And even if this migration to the stars takes centuries, the decades in between are gonna get weird.
ChatGPT, what would a real Mars colony look like?
You're probably going to have to drink recycled urine. Protein sources might be insects, which isn't for me. You might die of cancer. You'll probably be living underground. Your bones and your vision and your muscles might be degrading. Maybe you'll be okay, maybe not. And you're going to be living in a small, cramped habitat with people you may or may not like.
So how long can you actually last in space? Which dangers still stump even the scientists? And what if the hard part isn't the rockets and robots? It's us. The first limit of living in space is that we don't have that many places to go. Mercury's climate is both extremely hot and cold. The surface of Venus could melt lead, and the rest of the planets too far away. So the first idea is staying local in low Earth orbit. That's convenient, but it's getting crowded with thousands of satellites and space junk. Then there's the moon. It's not too far away and people have been there before, but it barely has an atmosphere, and nights last 2 Earth weeks. Then there's Mars, which has some of the stuff we need to support life, like frozen water. But what if building on something isn't the best idea? There's a whole group of engineers who think the future of humanity isn't on Mars or the moon. It's floating somewhere in between. That vision comes from a particle physicist named Gerard K. O'Neill. He imagined giant rotating habitats long before we even had Wi-Fi. I'll come back to him, but first I want you to meet some of his followers actually trying to make it happen.
Time to get into space mode.
I went to Houston, Texas,
New Worlds.
to an event called the New Worlds Conference.
I want to get hit by it.
Yeah, be careful with that.
Look at how janky this looks.
It's Space Expo meets Burning Man.
Here's an astronaut.
The event's founder, Rick Tumlinson, studied under O'Neill.
We used to call ourselves Jerry's kids. He was a true visionary. He was like, let's go out there and build space solar power plants, and these communities will be funded by building these and selling energy to the Earth. And then New Worlds is where we can start bringing the tribe together and inspire those people who are going to go.
Got it.
Right? And give them a home.
But, by the way, you do have people coming to this event this time and probably in the past who are major space investors.
Absolutely. There'll be a couple of billionaires in the audience.
It's time for the Space Cowboy Ball Saturday night. I'm heading over there now. And y'all, I came prepared.
The event culminates with the Space Cowboy Ball.
Don't tell my wife or my rabbi that I was here.
It's part networking.
The best deals happen when you're at parties like this.
Part costume party.
Brock, tell us what your outfit is. I'm a space pirate.
As the people at the Space Ball partied like it's 2099.
Rocket Man!
I wandered through the empty exhibits at the Space Center Houston. From Skylab to 20 Mile space stations.
Look, we got a guy taking a little shower break over there. Hi.
Stuff that used to feel like pure sci-fi, it's starting to look kind of doable. So how do we get from something as Spartan as Skylab to O'Neill's full-on space cities?
Good evening for Roundtable. I'm Harold Hayes. The most mind-boggling idea comes from the mind of a professor of physics named Gerard Kitchen O'Neill.
This is something which we feel could be made as a first model space colony
for about the cost of the Apollo project.
O'Neill didn't just imagine floating cities. He detailed how to build them, starting with materials from the moon.
It's probably a rotten place to live, but as a mining source, it's great.
Lunar soil, called regolith, contains oxygen, aluminum, iron, and silica, and could theoretically be used to make fuel, glass, and solar panels. Rather than hauling heavy materials up from Earth, O'Neill invented something called a mass driver, an electromagnetic launcher that works like a railgun or magnetic roller coaster to fling raw material from the moon into orbit.
The bucket carries a payload of lunar material, and it's accelerated by these magnetic coils.
In orbit, those payloads would be caught and melted down in solar-powered furnaces to extract metals. This would feed a kind of orbital job shop, capable of manufacturing beams, solar cells, and eventually, more mass drivers. O'Neill's plan was a self-replicating industrial loop. One seed system could duplicate itself without needing anything new from Earth, and it could all be run remotely. The result would be giant habitats that rotate to generate artificial gravity, now known as O'Neill cylinders. Inside, lakes, farms, cities powered by constant sunlight, built from moon dust, populated by people, and possibly plants and animals brought from Earth. They'd orbit at stable points called Lagrange points, the perfect parking spots in space, just a few days from Earth. Once you know the shape, you start noticing O'Neill-inspired designs in lots of movies and TV shows. Here's Babylon 5.
Humans and aliens wrapped in 2,500,000 tons of spinning metal, all alone in the night.
And the craft seen in the movie Interstellar.
We're not meant to save the world. We're meant to leave it.
Ready-made space colonies, no long trips to Mars required. In his original notes, O'Neill admitted this vision might take centuries, but it remains one of the most compelling and fully thought-out ideas for how humans could live long-term in space. O'Neill passed away in the 90s, but his legacy lives on. And one of his most famous students is closer than ever to bringing this dream into reality.
We can have 1 trillion humans in the solar system, which means we'd have 1,000 Mozarts and 1,000 Einsteins. This would be an incredible civilization.
Just imagine, prime one-day shipping for 1 trillion people. Jeff Bezos has been a space nerd since he was a teenager. Then, as an undergrad at Princeton, he attended seminars with O'Neill. So far, he's taken celebrities on suborbital rides with his company Blue Origin. But now, he's going for something much more ambitious. Landers on the moon, built to unlock its buried treasure. The scientific term for this quest is In Situ Resource Utilization, or ISRU. And if humans can't figure it out, the entire future of living in space could fall apart. Here's the problem. Even with reusable rockets, arguably the biggest advancement in space exploration in recent years, it's still really expensive to launch stuff off Earth. So if you want to build a base, or a civilization, you can't bring everything with you. You have to live off the land. That means taking dirt, ice, or atmospheric gases and transforming them into what you need: air, water, and fuel. Blue Origin has already isolated near pure silicon and other elements from simulated moon dirt in a lab. Next, they want to do it on the moon to extract materials for solar panels and maybe even manufacture them right there on the surface. Icon, a Texas-based construction company, plans to melt moon dust and then use robots to 3D print structures on the moon.
It's basically powdered sandpaper that we turn into a liquid sandpaper and put it through machinery.
Is it like 10,000 Wallies? Is it like one big robot? Like, what's the crew the robot crew that's going up there?
Great question. I would say it's close to 10 to 15 robots would be just a wonderful fleet to go after a couple of pretty big ambitious plans. So things like landing pads, roads, protective structures, some of the early infrastructure that we want. And that would provide the redundancy, but also the fit to function.
Other groups are focused on pulling oxygen and hydrogen from lunar ice to make breathable air, drinking water, and rocket propellant. If that works, you don't have to ship fuel from Earth anymore. You just gas